Why are you leaving, Arcueid? Start to run after her. But my feet don't leave the ground. Senpai walks slowly over to me. I won't let you follow her. I can't let you be killed, Tanokun. And her hands are thin, wrought like blades. One of them stands by my feet, pulling my shadow to the ground. Do not move until that is removed. Kinda getting some forgives flashbacks here, honestly. I think Sebasta uses a similar move. No matter how hard you struggle, your shadow will struggle just as hard not to separate from you. Stop fooling around. I'll lose her. I'll grip the blade below me. No matter what, I can't pull it out. I forgot to mention this, but I'm the only one who can remove it, so please give up. Saying that, she stops in front of me. I glare at her, takes in my gaze, and then sighs. That's the face that we know. She's really? Why do you go overboard so much, Tanokun? Senpai? I know. I don't hate her myself, but this is for both of your sakes. I will let you go soon, so please listen to what I have to say for a while. He looks up hesitantly. This is the leisurely senpai I know from school. Is that why? No, I still can't grasp the situation. I start to calm down. This is absurd, so I am prepared for you to hate me. But I have something I have to tell you. I'm very sorry for restraining you like this. Senpai bows her head. She's dressed strange, but senpai is the senpai. It's okay. I'm not angry, so please don't apologize. You already helped me once, senpai. I want to ask you some things as well. That does help, but what would you like to ask me, Tanokun? Isn't it obvious? Just, who are you, senpai? Just like that, and smashing away Arcueid. And I'm the only one who remembers you at school. Senpai gives a sigh in response. And then, let me ask. Tanokun, what do you think about me? I've only heard some things from Arcueid about the church and stuff. That's right. As you know, I'm an exorcist of the church. My specialty is hunting vampires. I can't answer anything else. But I think that's enough for you. Enough? Would someone like you even come to my school? If you wanted to exterminate vampires, you'll be searching the city like Arcueid. No, there was no reason for me going to your school, Tanokun. Right, since this overlaps with the talk I want to give, I will ask the questions from now on. I just look at her eyes change like that. Tanokun, you seem to have teamed up with her. Do you know anything about what she's after? Yeah. Well, I heard he's the old type of vampire who drinks the blood of humans to expand his territory. He seems to know about the two main classifications of vampire. I think you know about how he is the imperfectly immortal. Yeah, about how he needs to drink blood to maintain his body. But on the other hand, as long as he can drink blood, he'll never age, right? Yes, but you can't say he is immortal in the end, can you? Besides, there are ones for whom drinking blood does not maintain their body fully, and there are some that are exterminated by us. Can't call something that can die like that immortal. Well, certainly, he's not immune to death. I don't know what Senpai is trying to say, or to get it here. Is this related to how you came to my school? Of course. Please wait until I'm finished. Okay, but if you could give me the short version, I would appreciate it. Oh really? I think that's the case. Then I'll explain as directly as I can. Senpai seems a little disappointed. Then, a simple explanation. Anyway, the modality of the vampires known as the apostles is very unstable. For them, it is merely prolongation of the lifespans many times of that of normal people. A question. Not only are their lifespans long, but they also have unnatural powers. Is there any relation? Not really. Their individual powers are things they had when they were human, strengthened over hundreds of years. Continuing their studies from their human lives gives them these extraordinary powers. The dead apostles each have different goals. What they each decide to study is different. Because of that, there was one who seriously studied immortality. He became immortal, yet he still researched it. Yes, the instant the dead apostles become vampires, they assume they have reached the limit of immortality as humans. However, he felt that it was just a degeneration. He did not want something so imperfect, and he wanted to come up with a more perfect immortality. Senpai seems to be more engaged, but as long as something has shape, it cannot but perish. There isn't anything that can withstand the passage of time. Vampires merely have a resistance higher than that of humans. Anything living internalizes death the moment they are born. Live in possession of a body which does not age. As long as it exists, it cannot escape death. To escape death is to die. And you know people die when they are killed. This contradiction is a problem that cannot be solved. Yeah, everyone has death within them. If there is someone who doesn't, and then that's probably something that never existed in the first place. Arcueid can die during the day. There can't be anything that cannot die in this world. That's the reason. But he concluded that if he could preserve his existence after death, then he would be immortal. It isn't in our doctrine, it is what you call reincarnation. Even if you die, if you could preserve your sense of self and start over again as a new human, that would be eluding death. Well, since he isn't completely annihilated, he isn't dead, so it's actually not quite eluding death. Reincarnation? You mean if he dies he will start over as a baby? Yes, while he is alive. He chooses his next house, and when it is born, he transmits all the information to himself. So does this imply that he's actually at our school as a student? This information stays deep within the baby until it matures, or until it gains its intelligence as its own. As soon as that baby has the intelligence to succeed itself, the baby becomes a new vampire that is him. Wait a minute. What's that? Tell me that he does surgery on it, while still in the mother or something like that. No, it's not something medical. Because the instant his body is destroyed, he reincarnates into the body he chose as his next body. I said all of his information earlier, but use simpler terms. Think of it as his soul. I just had a terrible thought. What if it is Shiki himself? It wouldn't be quite correct to say his soul propagates through the air and takes over someone's body, but it's similar to an electromagnetic wave. In this case, the human brain is what does the transmitting and the receiving. His exceptional point is that he took his soul, which is incalculable and something that disperses as soon as it leaves the envelope of the body, and processed it as something that could be transmitted. Sorry, senpai, I can't see how this relates to you coming to my school. It is related, because this reincarnating vampire is in your school, Tono-kun, and I just remembered. Of course it couldn't be Shiki himself, since Arcueid would know who it is. Yes, I think so. Huh? Vampire I am pursuing and the vampire Arcueid is pursuing are the same. Maybe this is the reason why Arcueid came to school that one time. although she's probably only referred to him as the enemy. I know silently. Certainly she's only used the word enemy, but she never told me anything about him. Her duty was to kill vampires. But since he appeared, she only pursued him. He has reincarnated 17 times already. She has destroyed him every time. But does that mean that he cannot be destroyed totally and utterly? Like, every time he dies, he'll just get reincarnated somehow? Every time, but if he dies, he would just be reborn, right? Isn't that pointless? Yes. He's killed by her, reincarnated each time, and is killed again by her. That cycle has been repeated over and over. The only positive thing would be that it'll take a while for the vampire to mature, so during each cycle there is a pause of like a few years, depending on how fast he matures. If Arcueid had the power to kill not the body, but the meaning, then this probably would not be happening. Amber looks down a little and it seems like she is gritting her teeth. I don't know why. However, Priesta Senpai has some grudge against the enemy like Arcueid does. Senpai? What kind of vampire is he? He was originally a man, but that can change depending on his body he reincarnates into. From some part of this that apostle is, this incarnation are hard to find. Because he is probably born as a human baby and has parents. He transforms into a vampire only when he reaches the age where he can do everything at a satisfactory level. What if it's Arihiko that would be troublesome? Or what if it's Akia? Then again, Akia isn't going to Shiki school, so probably not. Until then, that human shows no hint of being a vampire. But once he awakens, he uses the relationships he gained until that time to blend perfectly into society. It's like a deep cover. I heard that the church detects his presence usually after a whole town is turned to dead. A minute. That does suggest that he can just eradicate whole towns. That seems utterly terrifying. Well, then this new host, he wouldn't ever realize that he is a vampire until he awakens. Yes, but it isn't like two people sharing one body. The baby born as a human is still him. Depending on his environment, it's a good or a bad person. But even that, the instant he awakens, goes away. To sum it up, once he dies, he is reborn into the next body, and once that body regains intelligence, it gains the previous life itself and becomes a vampire. What is it? Just hearing this, it's terribly scary. It's strange. I don't really understand it, but it's strange. Because what you call vampires, they don't just suddenly become vampires, right? Even if their old self awakens, won't the body still remain human? No, reincarnation isn't the transmitting of personality, it's the transmission of the soul. Once bitten by a true ancestor, not just the body, but the soul is forever soiled. He transmits all of his information called his soul to his next self. So when he awakens, body becomes one of the vampire, but what? As you said, that's just that is too weak. He selects his next host while he is alive. The family he is born into must meet two conditions. First being one of wealth. Being born into a family of high social standing, property, and money makes it easier to make the whole town into vampires later on. And there is another requirement. This is the important one, but amongst normal people like us, there are also people that carry special powers. Like magic, which is a mystic power that can be learned, but rather special abilities from birth. These people are normally called demonic children or psychics. These special abilities are genetic, so they are inherited, passed on by blood. Uses those families that have something not human in their lineages. A family with wealth and influence and inhuman power. Those are the requirements for his host, Tanoshiki-kun. That really sounds like Akia might be one, even though I don't think Akia goes to the same school as Shiki does. There's still something weird. I think that story is weird. What's weird is that Senpai is telling me this story. His name. Yes? You say something? Name? You keep saying enemy and him. How can I understand that? Did you tell him his name? Did you tell me his name, rather? I'm sorry I keep messing up. I yell at her, not even knowing why I'm angry. He doesn't look flattered at all. He only looks at me sympathetically. No problem. Among the dead apostles, he is known as the Serpent of Akasha. It's the same person who communicated with Nero. This is due to the serpent being the symbol of infinity and cycles. That referring to Ouroboros. Gaining its skin, gaining a new body. That's perfect for his name. On the other hand, he is recorded in the church as the infinite reincarnator. His human name Michael Roa Aldamion, which is not someone we know, I think. He's also simply referred to as Roa. Never heard of it. Of course, it's not like I've ever met him. In short, you came to my school because you knew this Roa was there. Yes, it really was a sketchy feeling, but I knew this incarnation of Roa was there. I can sense Roa far better than Arcueid. That's why I came here much earlier than Arcueid. And already found out who his new host is. The voice stops for some reason. Somebody looks at me sympathetically like before. I explained this before. Roa chooses fine lineages and excellent bodies for his next host. Someone should find out Roa is in this place. The answer comes naturally when you investigate the families which meet his criteria. In this area, there is only one old family that meets his criteria. I don't have to say any more, do I, Tanoshiki-kun? That's why I'm saying this conversation is weird. Uh, uh, I'm the one laughing dryly. What are you saying, senpai? That can't be. Senpai doesn't answer, almost as if she is saying that I'm his Roa's host. But there can be no doubt. The Tono family has something different in its blood. It has power and the latest superhuman ability that Roa needs. The power that you used to defeat the dead earlier wasn't human. So, this time's Roa's host is unmistakably Tonoshiki. I don't understand. I don't understand a single thing she says. Why? Why can you be so certain, senpai? What? Because I'm the one who decided all this? She says something I can't understand once more. What? It's different. You were the one killed. Yet you were the one who survived. One girl survived. And the one who killed is dead. I think all the mistakes began there. She says so as if she's on the verge mentally. Senpai pulls the sword from the ground by my feet. Ah, that's all I had to tell you. I'll leave the rest for you to decide, Tono-kun. Leave it to me. But according to your story, to be honest, I don't know either. You are an incredibly ordinary person, like a student you could find anywhere. My intuition has to be wrong, because you are someone who shouldn't be in a world like mine. With a sad smile, Senpai leaps an incredible distance from me, as if trying to tell me she's someone else now, an unreachable far distance. I still can't leave Arcueid alone. Yes, I chase after her now. I feel like I'll never see her again. So if Shiki really is the reincarnation of Roa, then does that explain why he gets overwhelmed with bloodlust trying to kill Arcueid? Because there are internal enemies in that sense? You're going after her, Tono-kun? His voice returns to the way it was when she drove off Arcueid, an inflectionless voice devoid of emotion. Yeah, because you're a person of the church. I know she's an enemy of yours. A lot of things have happened, and I agreed to help her. But I have to look for her. I don't know what she'll do if I leave her by herself. Laughing as if it was a joke, I tell her later and turn around. Please wait. If you go after her, you'll only get killed. You must not see our great princess again. Only get killed. Well, he may not believe me, but he really doesn't suck blood. He's quite a good person, actually. I know. Certainly she hasn't drunk human blood. However, that's an end. A true ancestor who gives in to the vampiric impulse once can only fall downward from there. My feet freeze in place. Senpai? True ancestor of vampiric impulse? What do you mean? I mean the desire to drink blood. Tanokun, vampires, called dead apostles, mostly became vampires after a vampire sucked their blood. To preserve their bodies, they need the blood of humans. In other words, they can't escape drinking blood if they want to live. But the ones that were vampires from the beginning are different. Dead apostles were originally humans like us. Maybe you can still call them human. However, someone was born a vampire. Can you call it human? What are you saying, senpai? I'm asking about Arcueid. This is about her. I won't let you say you never thought about it. If dead apostles become vampires from vampires, there has to be an origin, an existence. There's a vampire from the beginning. Vampires that are a completely different species from us, all the true ancestors. Those who don't need human blood and have special powers equivalent to, surpassing the dead apostles. He's a member of the royal family of the true ancestors. Although they don't really have any rank structure, so saying royal isn't quite accurate. Basically, she's of nobility. So what, senpai? This conversation doesn't have anything to do with me. It does. These vampires, known as the true ancestors, have a deeper impulse to drink blood than the dead apostles. Their eyes are completely emotionless, like mirrors that show my agitated face. Do you see, Tanakun? The true ancestors can live without human blood. However, maybe a mistake happened in their evolution, or maybe there's no such thing as a perfect existence, but anyway, there's a period when they desire the blood of humans. The instant a human has its blood drunk by them, he no longer remains human. Your ancestors are on the scale different from humans as creatures. When powerful life of a true ancestor touches the blood of a human, the sheer difference means a human cannot remain human after such contact. Like a small wave absorbed into a larger wave, that person becomes a part of the true ancestor. To simplify, it becomes a doll. problem is, there's no reason for their vampiric impulses. There's no reason, so there's no way to stop it. With a flaw in an otherwise perfect existence. You can call it a terminal illness. Anyway, they live by resisting their urge to drink blood. That must be a terrible, terrible, terrible existence. This is a matter of using the mind to put up with it. They use all their powers to resist this urge and seal it within themselves by force. By using their enormous power on themselves, they are suppressing their vampiric impulses. So does that mean that Arcueid can't contain her impulses because she was weakened by us when we killed her the first time? Well, I say killed her, but well, we did kill her in 17 pieces. But if something external causes them to lose their power, what do you think happens to their ability to suppress it? If something external causes them to lose power, such as receiving a wound which requires power to heal, or using power to regenerate after being killed completely. Let's say she has 10 units of power, and say she uses 7 of them to resist the urge to drink blood inside her. But if, for some reason, she loses 5 out of the 10 units, then even if she uses all of her remaining power, she can only use 5 units of power to resist. That's not enough. And then, what will it take away from her? And what happens to those 3 ancestors who couldn't resist, Senpai? They drink human blood, of course. After that, nothing. Once they give in, they can only keep on falling. Once a true ancestor knows the taste of blood, the urge becomes many times more painful than before. As a result, they aren't able to resist the urge anymore. And when that happens, they become the dreaded demon lords. Our ancestors are certainly a superior race, but since they bind themselves to resist the vampiric impulse, they can never utilize their full powers. But once they fall, there's no longer the need to restrain themselves. Then, just become demons who suck human blood for their own pleasure. I remember how Arcueid appeared earlier. Her bloodshot eyes, her wild breathing, her breath assailing my neck. Lies. That's a lie. Because she certainly said she's scared of drinking blood. Ah, yeah, she's scared. I mean, if she knows that she will fall if she drinks human blood, then obviously she is scared of losing herself. Because when she does it, she knows she won't be able to stop. If there is any salvation, it is that the urge is instantaneous. True ancestors keep just one subordinate for the time the urge gets too great to suppress. That's the beginning of those called dead apostles. Yeah, something that is already dead. A vampire kept alive for the sake of easing the pain of the two ancestors. That is the form of the vampire in this city. But she doesn't have such a thing. No, until now, she never needed one. Special among all of the two ancestors. She was able to resist the vampiric impulses using her will alone. And there's no problem. Once her wound heals, once her body returns to normal, she can resist it, right? Technically, but there's a limit, Tonokun. The vampiric impulse has no end, and will not go away. The resisted urges which build again and again will eventually overflow their vessel. The longer they live, the larger the vampiric impulse in them gets. When they can no longer restrain themselves with their own power, when the impulse overwhelms their power, their lives are ended by others. So, it does mean that every vampire is doomed to fall, basically, at some point. Which is extremely sad. That is the lifespan for those without lifespans. But Arcueid is okay. He's just weak because of me. After a few days she will. Perhaps. But she has reached the limit already. Even though she was only actually active for a few years, the amount of time of her existence does not change. The urge which has grown inside her will soon consume her. There's no denying that now is not the time. Arcueid's life cannot be saved. Dump. For the first time, not because of my anemia, but something else's words. Everything starts to fade away in a haze of dizziness. What does it mean? No, she knows she's past her limit. She's still hunting vampires here? That's odd. No matter how I think about it, it's odd. It's all lies. Because if she knew she's at her limit, then why would she hunt vampires for our sake? She deals with them not for our sakes, but because it is her purpose. Purpose? Who decided that? Probably the other two ancestors. He was born in the 12th century, when there were many fallen true ancestors. Ancestors could not ignore their fallen kin, nor the apostles increasing in number. That's why they created something solely for killing, without the need for anything else. Most pure true ancestor created for punishment. It is the true ancestor called Arcueid. It's like a nuclear missile without a mind of its own. When she leaves the castle, her target is definitely destroyed. This dizziness again. She should stop saying that. She's a person, Talking about her like she's just some sort of weapon makes me mad. No, she's a weapon. In the first place, she existed only for that purpose. So it seems there's now something wrong with her. It is the first time I've seen her talk like that. Never spoke any words before. Huh? Hold on. Never spoke. That's odd. Because she never does anything extra from long ago for the past hundreds of years. She just lived that way. Ever since she was born in the old castle amongst the mountains. Never changing. Thump. My heartbeat and this dark dizziness. What is this? This unknown scenery. These memories I've never had. They start to fill my vision. Wow. The wide castle courtyard. The unadorned grassy field inside the solitary castle. White girl stares blankly up at the sky. Did not have any extra knowledge or freedom beyond what was needed for her purpose. Only goes outside when her target is determined. They gets out only the information needed to definitely destroy the enemy. No one was there. No one to talk to. Not even another face to see. They're killing her target. And when she returns to the castle, her thought knowledge is washed out, and she is taken to sleep, without knowing anything. Nothing other than killing vampires. There's nothing. It's just the fun of speaking with someone else. The precious moments of seeing someone else and quitting them. She was excluded from all of it. Her power was strong enough to defeat the fallen to her ancestors. But it's ironic. She was so powerful that she was shunned by the rest of the true ancestors. But doesn't this mean that the moment that she falls, she is a very danger for the true ancestors that actually sent her away? Even while praising her as a princess, no one approached her, even while giving her a castle. Her world was only the dark basement, so there was nothing to give her any feelings. That's almost enough to make me pity her for living the parody of life. She barely had no words or even time of her own. The true ancestors treated her only as a weapon. A weapon has no need for extra functions, such as baking bread or doing laundry. If you were going to put on extra functions, you would put on something more fit for a weapon, right? I was always taught never to do extra things. Yes, she has said that before. Reason for deciding everything for herself. For having those empty eyes. That's why she never needed anyone else. No, maybe she never knew about it. All they wanted of her was to be a superior killing machine. That's why she doesn't know anything. I don't mean she's something big like the meaning of life, but even the small joy of just living normally. She was always so cheerful. Trivial things made her so happy. So I thought she was just always like that. But I was horribly wrong. She really was. Just enjoying those simple things. She must have enjoyed those things so much. because it was so fun. I never thought about how life could be fun just by living. And it was an uneasiness he couldn't understand. The classroom filled with the red setting sun, where she asked me those questions with a reserved voice. No Arcueid has existed for so long. She knows less about living than we do. If you convert it to the time she was allowed to move freely, it was amazingly short. Her lifetime was spent almost entirely in sleep. Likely a deep, dark sleep. Really? Have enough fun just talking, you know? After dealing with all the fallen true ancestors, she did not leave the castle. Having fulfilled their purpose, the true ancestors sought to educate her properly. However, she could not be free. Because of a slight mistake, she ended up killing all the true ancestors remaining in the castle. Wait, what? How was that a slight mistake? Maybe the one that was taught how to kill vampires really did finish her job until the very end. In the end, she was left alone. After killing all the true ancestors, she sealed herself up in the castle. In the empty castle of the true ancestors, bound with 1,000 chains. Whenever Roa is reborn, she awakens from her sleep and moves around for a short time. In the middle of that fixed world, she never said a single word. That's why she's a killer down to her very core. Even though the true ancestors which bound her are now gone, she still wanders around with the sole purpose of killing vampires. She probably doesn't have any other fun. That's a lie. That's not what made her happy. I wasn't watching anything. Like her words or her happy face. If only I looked closer, I would have known. I never realized how alone she was until now. All the things we feel and take for granted. It's just talking with a friend about meaningless things, or the fun that lets you forget time. At the end of the day, lying down on the bed, and the peacefulness of just staring at the ceiling. To her, those unimportant things were priceless moments of happiness. Of it. What is misery? It's her not even knowing how miserable she is. Such a terrible, almost comical solitude should not exist. Lies, all of it. Enough with all the difficult things. I never knew she felt such happiness from trivial things. If I could let her know that such things were things you could always enjoy, that would have been such a great. Not good. Her voice returns my vision to normal. Wrong. Suddenly went quiet and spaced out. Were you listening? No, sorry, I don't remember. I heard you speaking, but it felt like someone else was talking. Senpai nods doubtfully. In other words, she. It's okay. I don't care what she did or what she's like. I can't leave her alone any longer. I'll be going. Turning away from Senpai, I start to walk towards the city. Onokun. The true ancestor fails to suppress the vampiric impulse. There is no hope for recovery. He appears in front of you. It means he came to drink your blood. I think what she says is the truth for her. It is a different truth than mine. Not true. Because she hasn't drunk blood yet. No. But if I had not stopped her, she would have drunk your blood. You're wrong. Because she stopped. Arcueid was fine. That's why even if you didn't stop her, the result would have been the same. Yeah, certainly. She stopped right then. So, you're going to be on her side no matter what then, Tono-kun? Yeah. Sorry, Senpai. Senpai doesn't answer. I think I heard her sigh. We may end up fighting, you know? Maybe. But I won't apologize, Senpai. There's no response from Senpai. Just her presence getting further away. Hearing footsteps. Without turning around, I head towards town, surrounded by night.